Welcome back, everybody, to Maniacal Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, and as any lady will tell you, I go hard with my killer love. When that pussy cat is hot, I slide right in and work it, especially in my backseat freestyles. Yeah, you know what I mean. That chick Shireen was making existence feel like poetic justice the other day, but I told her, bitch, don't kill my vibe. My co-host, though, she's a real one. She'll work it, slide that ass to the floor, and reverse it for you. She got the recipe for a good marriage and knows what's really going on. They say back in the day in Compton, though, she'd grow her money trees and do as thou will, preaching her revelations against those who try to go against her. Now she says, I'm just shaking my head at this mad city we live in. Jaimie motherfucking Fuller, everybody.
How's it going? How's it going? I like how we use that intro there. I kind of like the Miss Ilya intro to no matter when I enter the room. Okay, I want that like every time.
I'll try. I
Okay,
changed up.
okay. Miss
I
Ilya
changed it up.
vibes every time.
I change it up every week based on the albums, but I'll try. I can't promise nothing. But that's right, folks. Maniacal Musings is back once again with the new co-host for those who didn't see it last time. But even though there was like 100 people watching last time, so if you didn't see it, you're lost, fools. But we are joined by another great guest, another great musician, and this time an amazing rapper who I'll get into that in a minute. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin King himself.
You know, I'm honored to be here, but I also am shocked that you didn't run out of song titles. I'm like, I get why you chose the album you chose now. It's like 30 songs on there.
But yours was just. I listened to the deluxe version of yours. It was just about as long. So I don't want to hear shit. But it took me 2 days to listen to yours. So but we'll get into that in a bit. I don't want to ruin things for people here. But Kevin, well, first and foremost, folks, go check out Kevin King on Spotify, on YouTube, because I listened to his whole first EP and it is golden. I honestly I ran out of time. I meant to rank the songs in your EP actually based on which ones I loved, but the intro is definitely my favorite. The intro song is definitely my favorite. It's that video of you rapping in the street in whatever city that happened to be. I think it was, oh yeah, New York City. It's New York City. What the fuck am I saying? That video of you rapping in the street in New York City is fucking fire. I was like, oof. I wish I
Thank
had
you,
the
thank
fucking
you.
balls to do that shit.
It's awkward too, is people just walking up and down, they're going into their store and just living their regular life, and you're just standing there with a speaker and just
I mean, it's New
nuts.
York City. It's New York City. They have to be used to it with all the street performers they've had over the last like 5 decades, and
Oh yeah.
with all the TikTokers and Facebook reelers today that just fucking record themselves dancing to music in the middle of the street. So I mean,
Yeah,
they have to be used to it. They got to be used to it by now.
they were throwing quarters at me, so it was all good. I made a little profit. I think I got more in quarters that day than YouTube ad revenue, so it was a
So
good look.
I would have been like, quarters. Where's the dollars? What am I, a stripper in Iowa? Jesus. But uh,
Listen, we make more than quarters over here, you hoe. Getting your states wrong. Getting your
you
states wrong.
know,
Remember that, sir. Getting your
To be
states wrong.
fair, it was a lot of quarters, yeah. 32.
but quarters hurt. That's the thing. But
Hell, it's hailing.
uh, well, the way I like to always start these off, Kevin, is what made you want to be a rapper? What made you want to get into the music scene?
Yeah, I've been doing it since I was 17, so I'm 30 now. So it's just something I've always been into. I think before I even started rapping, I was doing, this is gonna sound corny, but I was doing like poetry battles. So it would be me and some friends, and we would be writing, and we were like, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. And hip hop is always so competitive that we end up actually working together, making music, and then I was like, I want this to be my career. This is something I want to do for the rest of my life. But I kind of just let my regular day job take over for a really long time. So I'm now getting in the process of like, okay, release all this music. I want to turn this into a full-time career. I've kind of been stalling long enough. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
a little bit of the timing part of it and just a genuine love for the craft.
And actually, it's not crazy to start out doing poetry battles because I mean, I know plenty of underground rappers, and that's how they started in like high school and college, like doing poetry battles. And I mean, rap literally stands for rhythm and poetry. So I mean, you were halfway there. You just need the rhythm to go with it. So shit. I mean, it's what it is. It's poetry at the end of the day. It's all it really is. I mean, I I've written my share of poems. I got a notebook right over there I found a couple weeks ago that I all freaking raps and slash poems I wrote in college, and no, folks, I will never read them on the live because I don't want to get looked at by FBI and other people. But I was an angry man back then. I was a very angry man back then. But uh, they're there. Maybe someday I'll read them with a sensory warning beforehand. But yeah, I mean, more power to you. I mean, I would love to. I always said I would love to be a rapper, but I just don't have the ability. I have the lyrics. I don't have the fucking ability to actually rap them along and stick on beat. Like it's just not my thing. I tried. Trust me, I've tried 1,000 times the karaoke nights and shit. It just doesn't last. I tried doing Eminem and that shit just failed miserably. But what can I say? People don't like it when you start saying I'm the real fat Slim Shady. But whatever. Uh, but what album did you want to bring, Kevin? Which, folks, disclaimer: Kevin did give me 2 albums, and I kind of chose one because the other one was Pink Floyd, and I try to avoid Pink Floyd with a fucking hot passion. So, but that's me. That's me. I'm not saying anything against it. 'Cause some people love Pink Floyd. I just not my. I don't know. Someday I gotta let someone bring him on the show so I can give him a fucking chance. Actually, but what album did I let you bring that you wanted to bring? Just
Yeah, that's funny. I have on my desk. I have Dark Side of the Moon, like a little just CD sitting there because I love that album. But I looked at Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. That's probably one of my favorite albums of all time. So I'm really excited to hear your guys' take on it.
is it one of the albums that inspired you to be a rapper? Just out of curiosity, or
No, no, I was too old by then. That's 2012. I was already rapping for a couple of years by then. Um, Not professional, like not putting out the music, but definitely I was writing already, making songs and stuff. I sucked, but I definitely was on the path back then.
what? I gotta ask this though. What rap albums like from your childhood made you want to be a rapper? Because I have a feeling there'd be some ones I love, but
Yeah, DMX back in the day, so Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Blueprint, the original Blueprint album. A lot of New York stuff. So it's definitely a lot of New York. And then a little bit later on, every kid goes through that phase where they just start really looking for music and it starts to define them. So Joe Budden, the famous podcaster, used to make music, and he actually used to make really dope music. And his shows were like little family gatherings. You would see the same people at them even in New York, but they would be packed out. So I used to love going to see his shows, and that was something that inspired me, right, to like want to perform and be on stage. Who else? Immortal Technique, really early on. I had to get away from that because
mm-hmm.
that can get like he can get a little crazy, a little cringy, but not that I don't love him.
Mm.
Not that I don't love him. He's a fellow Baruch guy, but
Is
you know,
did, didn't Immortal Technique do that song "Dance with the Devil"?
he did. He did, and
I
that's the
fucking love that
meme.
song. I fucking love that song. That song is so dark. It's actually in a bracket I have for the most disturbing rap songs. It's actually in a bracket. It's actually in that bracket, but
I showed it to my mom once, and she didn't talk to me for a couple of days. It was like,
I would never show it to my mom, dude. That's just the ending of that song. Show it to your mom. Jesus Christ.
not a threat,
And-
you know.
but well, I mean, as a fellow New Yorker, because I'm from mid-state New York. I'm not from the city, but as a fellow New Yorker, I'm surprised I'm not hearing no goddamn Biggie.
I mean, everybody is Biggie. It's always gonna be Biggie, Big Pun. Like those guys, Big L. They're always gonna be up there. But I grew up in the 2000s, so a lot of those early to mid 2000s guys, those are my go tos.
Yeah, I mean, you said DMX, which I can't fault you on that because DMX is fucking incredible. But
Yeah.
of course, we actually we someone way back when a buddy of the show, Don Vito, brought on "It's Hot in Hell." on the
Oh,
show. So
it's dark and hell is
yeah,
hot.
yeah,
Yeah,
fucking
that's a good
amazing,
one.
amazing album. But well, actually, okay, I'm gonna go first this week on the reviews because you see, this is the third Kendrick Lamar album that we brought in the show by a guest. We did Damn, DeAndre Robinson, Masturbators brought that on, and another guest, I don't remember her name. She's another musician. She brought on How to Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn was good. I was a decent fan of Damn. How to Pimp a Butterfly, I really couldn't get into, but this one, holy fucking shit! I was like, oh, not Kendrick again. I was like, God damn it, why can't it be something different? And then I started playing the CD, the album, and I was like, the first song was like, oh. I'm like, okay, has to be the. I'm like this. I looked it up later, but I'm like, this has to be the album that he got famous with. And I'm like, yep, it is. Okay, so I mean, I'm like, this is fire. Most of this album is fire. I have a long list of songs I liked on this album, but I almost pulled a Jaimie and just took the whole album and ranked it. But towards the end, I kind of like started like being like, these songs are okay. They're not great. But the first like half, for a little more than the first half of the CD is fucking pure fire. I I was like, all right, maybe I'm a little bit more of a Kendrick fan than I thought I was because I try to say I hate mainstream rap, but these days, but I mean, yeah, this got my attention. This got my attention, and this came from an era where I hated fucking mainstream rap in like the early 2010s. I hated it back then. It's getting a little better now, but like I hated it back then, and the fact that he put this out and no one ever showed it to me, I'm kind of pissed. I gotta go slap a few people when I get done with this. But before we get to our list, I'll let Miss Jaimie give her review.
I mean, I won't lie, I haven't really dug into a lot of Kendrick's stuff, but the bit that I've listened to has been more from this album than it has his others. So for me, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Like I felt the start of the album gave me that 90s feel where you've got the introductions or the skits and the interludes and the beginning to the albums and the exchanges between songs that connect and everything. This album kind of hit that old history mark for me. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. There was a lot of songs I liked off of it, so I was not unhappy with the choice at all.
No, honestly, if I had to rank it, I might honestly might give this album like a 4.5 out of 5, and that 0.5 is only because of the songs at the end I didn't like. Like, and then of course at the end he brings Dre fucking in after the songs I don't like. And I'm like, oh god damn it, now I like the songs again. But I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But what are you? And this is always the best part. What are your top 5 off your album you decided to bring? Like, because guests are always struggle with this part. So,
Yeah, no, this was actually pretty easy. I have
all
Bitch Don't
right.
Kill My Vibe. I think that song is incredible. There's a remix to it, but that remix has Jay-Z on it.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way that he chooses to flow over that song, the pockets that he chooses, the way that they manipulate his voice, I think is super dope. I had Money Trees, so J Rock gets on there, and his verse is just such a dope contrast from what Kendrick is doing on that song, right? Kendrick is like much slower on it, right? J Rock comes in and it's this like lyrical, just like man, J Rock up in them projects where they pick your pockets, right? I think that is incredible to listen to. I had Poetic Justice because of that sample. That sample alone for me is just very easy to listen to. Then the contrast again between their verses. Um, Swimming Pools, that was another one. That song, funny enough, was actually a really big club song when it came out, but it's a song about alcoholism, about the dangers of alcoholism, right? Which I think is such a really cool thing. Is like people are going pull up, drink, and they're not listening, or when they start listening, it's like, oh, okay, he's talking about finding your problems at the bottom of a bottle, right? Or trying to solve them there. And it's such a great message inside of that. And then Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. Look, I just told you I love Dark Side of the Moon, and I'm a Pink Floyd fan, so I don't mind a long song. Uh Maybe a too long song sometimes, but this is actually 2 songs, right? The way that contrast happens, that Maya Angelou poem that cuts them from each other. The graphic depictions that happen in it, just everything is so real. It's very just story driven. So I adore that song. But those are my top five.
All right. Well, don't fucking kill me, but I have 7 honorable mentions for this album, and it's not the only album I have that many honorable mentions for. But it's, I mean, like I said, this album was fucking fire. It was just pure fire. I'll fly through my honorable mentions because I don't have like notes on them too much. But Money Trees was a damn good song. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe was my second honorable mention. I wanted to like it more because like I said, I do a lot of bracket specials on this show, and I have a lot of rap brackets made up, and there's like 4 or 5, and like Billboard brackets too. So there's like 4 or 5 songs in this album that are different brackets. So it's this album. I could tell right away when I looked at it, I was like, all right, this album's obviously very popular. But Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe was good, but it just got pushed down and pushed down as I went on the freaking album. Like it got pushed down. The Art of Peer Pressure is my next one. That was a really good song. I like the kind of like the meaning behind it more than anything, but it's a really good song. Real is my next one. It was a dope song. Same as Poetic Justice. The Poetic Justice has some great verses in it. It has some great beat. I mean, every song I liked had some good beats to it. So, but then I saw that Dre was executive producer. I'm like, oh, that explains it. But and my number seven was Good Kid. Thought it was I mean, I like the story behind the whole album. I like the whole story about like him and it growing up and his parents in the freaking skits. It's hilarious. So, and my last honorable mention was The Recipe because I mean, it's fucking. I've heard of The Recipe for years. I just never really listened to it, and it's him and Dre. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. But my number five though was actually great. My number five was Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, the remix, because the remix was fire compared to the original. The remix was fire. You said Jay-Z was on, I think.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that right there, it's fucking Jay-Z. But it was the remix is fire. My number four was Mad City. I love like the old school '90s beat behind it, and it sounded like I heard samples of Star Wars music in it for like a hot second in the beginning. So that kind of got my attention. I was like, it had like the almost like not Duel of the Fates, but almost like Empire Strikes Back type vibes to it in the music. So I was like, all right, I could deal with this. You got to catch it. You got to catch it, Jaimie. Give me that look. But my number three was Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter, because my daughter's a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. So that was awesome, that name. And I've dated girls like that, so I 100% fucking get that song. And the ones where your parents say you should be dating that girl, I'm like, fuck you, I'm doing what I want. But my number two was Compton. I mean, fucking Dre. What else I need to say? But it's fucking incredible. And the best song on this fucking album, according to me, was Backseat Freestyle. The flow throughout the whole thing was amazing. The fucking lyrics were incredible. I pray my dick gets big as the Eiffel Tower so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. Oh my god, that line had me fucking stop my feet and dying laughing. Like I was like, yes, I'm using that in the future. I'm fucking using that in the future. Oh, I don't have to wish, but it's still fucking love that song. That song was fire. Like I was just like, that's my song. Like I had a lot of songs up this on my Spotify like list for my future random listenings. So fucking A. You got me to actually like a Kendrick album like almost fully. So that's more than other people I've done in this show. So my hat's off to you if I was wearing one. But Jaimie, what were your top five for Kendrick?
So what I find to be funny is that I actually agree with you a bit more on my rankings of the songs than I thought I did because we did match on a couple. Because I am going to change my mind on one of my songs. Technically two, but my number five had a familiar vibe to it. There's Now or Never. There's just something about it that just I don't know. There's something about this album that had like a 90s vibe, just had something old school about it.
It had a
Um,
lot of it had a lot of '90s rappers on it. That's why it had a lot of '90s rappers and like stars on it. So
Kind of, yeah, but there's just something with what they have with the beat and the lyrics that just reminded me of it, of everything back then. Now, number four and my number one and number four, I'm flopping around. So my new number four is going to be Swimming Pools. because that
I
song
did not
always
like
made
that
me
song. I did not
huh?
like that song, and that song annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah, that's why it's a part of my whole top 5, is that it's annoying. Number 3 was the Shrine, Master Splinter's Daughter, same as you. I felt that was a catchy song. I don't know. I caught myself kind of jamming to it later on. Number 2, I had the Mad City. So there was something about the flow of the angry lyrics for me and the beat that just kind of gets you going. That just kind of gets
Yeah.
you in a vibe. And then number 1 for me will have to also be Backseat Freestyle
Yep.
because as Jeremy said, the Eiffel Tower stuff, I ended up like dropping my pen and just like laughing. Like I couldn't do it. It was a great song. Catchier than I thought. This album I didn't think I'd like, and I actually kind of do.
Yeah, I mean it was fire, and the Now or Never song was amazing. I want to say that I meant to interject and say that, but it was a good song. I just didn't put it on my list because at a certain point I was like, all right, this list is getting too long. I'm like, I need to start being more picky with my choices here. But the Now or Never song, I mean, that was the one with it wasn't Missy Elliott. It was some other chick on it, but it was
It was Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. Blige. Yeah, that's it. I yeah, they're from the same era, so yeah, I get them confused sometimes. But and plus, with us having to listen to Missy Elliott, that's in my head right now. So, but yeah, I overall fucking good CD. I'm not gonna complain at all. But I guess we'll stick with we'll go into a lesser known album I think next before we go into another album that a lot of people may know. But the album we'll go with the album I decided to bring because you see a lot of times in the show when the guest brings the album, I may look at the year if I don't know what I want to bring. But when it comes to a rap album, I have a list in my head of 50, 60 rap albums I want to bring in the show eventually. So I always have choices for rap albums. It's not like when people bring metal or like 70s, 60s music, I have to look at the year. It's like, nope, rap. Okay, who do I think vibes with this rapper? That's when I went and listened to your music because I want to hear your style and see what you did before I decide because I'm like, I can't just go off Kendrick. There's a lot of rappers out there like Kendrick, so I can't just go off him. But I'm like, all right, I hear Kevin's music. I'm like, all right, you know what? He's a lyricist. He's a lyricist through and through. So I think he'll get this music. So, and I only brought this group once on before when CL Brown from CL Pussy Talks was on the show way back when. I brought my favorite album by this group, but time to bring my second favorite album. I decided to bring Aquelio's Illumination, which is also the name of a book that Priceless, one half of Aquelio, wrote, where he describes how a lot of celebrities are being he compares them to Greek gods and whatnot, and like how basically like they're living out Greek mythology in current day, these celebrities, which is it's interesting. If you ever get a chance to read it, it's a fucking mind trip. You like Pink Floyd, you might be really digging it if you actually read it. But it's kind of got like a crazy. It makes sense though if you actually like read it and think about it. Like it actually all makes sense. And it's like, okay, this is scary. Greek gods are scary to begin with, but this is scary. So I mean, I loved it. I love this album. I'm like, I had to bring it on because Aquelio, I've seen them live. They're incredible. And we were talking before the show about this, how you thought they were like kind of like a juggalo rap group. And I'm like, kind of, not really. The painting the faces thing is, yeah, kind of like that. But I saw them open for Twisted and the same show, Lil White and Jelly Roll opened for Twisted too, which that was back when Lil White and Jelly Roll were running with their no sick days, not no sick days. Yeah, I think no sick days time, freaking time, and it was freaking first time I ever saw Jelly Roll, first time I ever heard of Jelly Roll, first time I ever heard of the White fucking, first time I ever heard of Aquelio, and that show got me into him because Aquelio is fucking incredible. The album I brought last time has a song called OJ Did It on it, where it's basically them arguing about whether or not OJ did it. And at the show, they get on milk crates and like old school newsies, and they're going back and forth with it. It's fucking incredible to see live. It's incredible to see live. It's cool. Like Aquelio and Little White were like doing shots with me and my friend at the bar and shit after their sets. Like it was a fun time. It was a small venue and it was in Poughkeepsie, New York, the Chance. But I don't know if you're familiar, but it's fucking awesome show. And Aquelio has continued to impress me. I haven't listened to their newer stuff, but the 3 albums they put out like in the late 2000s were fucking fire, pure fire. So, I had to bring this one because it's a fucking classic, and they have a lot to say in this album, and they say it well. But I am dying to hear, Kevin. What did you think of Aquilio? I love hearing people's opinions on my type of music like this.
Yeah, I have notes. There was a lot going on. I think what was cool about this album as a whole was that it was a lot of different styles. When we were talking earlier, you were saying that, like before the podcast started, that they had some influence from some of the southern rappers, right? Like 3 6 Mafia or an Outkast. And one of the songs that I had written down was really like it reminded me of an old Outkast song off of like the Love the Low or Speaker Box or something like that.
Yep.
So I really liked that sound that they had. That it was the way that their beats evolve is really cool. I think they play off of each other well, which a lot of
Mm-hmm.
duos don't do. And their flows that they choose are really really cool. I think who's the more light voiced guy? His voice is like way higher pitched.
I honestly always forget the other guy's name. I just know Priceless off the top of my head always. Like I always forget the other guy's name, but Priceless is the deeper voice, so it's got to be the other guy that has the lighter voice. Because I mean, it's hard to tell. I've kind of fallen out with them because they don't really do like their underground stuff anymore too much. They've only released like 2 albums like since that period where I fell in love with them. Like it takes them a long time to put out music. Their first album came out in like 2003, and then they didn't release this one until like 2011. So it takes them a long time to put out music. And I mean, they do their solo shit too, and they caught a little shit because on one of their album records there was a picture of one of them hanging from a tree. So they caught a little bit of shit for that. Like people were flipping out, and I was like, it's artistic freedom. What the hell are you flipping out about? Like that's what that's the message they're trying to get across. Like Jesus, like you're basically getting their message across for them by doing this. But it's I always forget the other guy's name. Priceless, and God damn it, I always forget his name. It'll come to me. I'll fucking look it up because it's gonna
It's
come
all
to me.
good. We just I
But
probably shouldn't call him other guy the entire time. But his voice definitely takes a little getting used to at first because he's very like he cuts the beat a lot. But I enjoyed it. I think to some extent there were things that I
oh, AC
definitely
High, AC High. That's the other guy's name.
AC High, that's his name. And I remember because I watched a video of them recently. I was like, where do I recognize these guys from? These are the guys that they beat up Takashi 6 9 like 10 years ago or something, like 5 6 years ago.
Probably. I mean, they're from England, and they definitely have that like UK street brawler type attitude to them. Like I see them having no problem beating the fuck out of somebody if they have to.
Yeah, and it was a big
And
thing for a minute.
Takashi 6 9 needs to get the shit out of him anyway. He's a fucking
Well,
rat.
it is what
But
it is. It is what it
but
is. They got him. The vigilantes got him. But yeah, no, I think it was a good album. I think for sure I could see the appeal in it. It wasn't my type of music necessarily, but I think that I really like where it was going, and I like the type of music the type of rapping that they do.
it's it,
They're
I
very
mean, it's
technical.
they're very technical, and they I mean they do these long ass songs, but their fucking songs speak volumes. That's what's great about them. Like their lyrics are fucking incredible. Like it's just they speak their social commentary is what blows me away always. And they on the album I brought on Speaking of the Devil, I brought it on the first show I brought him on. There's a song there called Skeletons, and it's basically just about what the church has done to young boys. And like even my guest was like, that song is fucking dark, but it needs to be said. It needs to be put out there. Like it
Yeah.
like the way they say it, it's just like you can't ignore it. They say things that you can't fucking ignore them. And it's what needs to be done. I mean, they're not horrorcore though, because horrorcore artists just don't they just say shit like that to get the attention and get the music out there. They don't. I mean, they may mean it for meanings, but for actual like social commentary. But Aquilio really does mean it. They've written a lot of shit. Priceless actually won a UK reality, like basically like almost like an America's Got Talent or Star Search type thing in the UK. Like right before his album came out, like he won it because he's such a fucking good performer. But so I mean, yeah, Aquilio, I can talk about him all day, but I will try not to. But I'm happy you liked them though. I'm happy you found some enjoyment out of them. But Jaimie, what did you think about Aquilio?
Hey, first to F off, I was going to ask if you were done, with your damn rant, Jaimie. This is where the inner Chancey's gonna come and go, "What the hell is wrong with you with making me listen to this damn album?" First off, first the fuck off. I wasn't even saying their name right. Okay? Wasn't even saying it right. Second
Were you
off,
calling them Aqua? Were you calling them Aqua Leo?
I didn't even know what to call them. I call them Aquadudes. And then second the fuck off, you want to act like this is some great songs. Horny Goat Weed? Really?
That's
Two
actually not on
and a
my. That's
half
not on my
goddamn
list even.
stars.
Not on my
That
not on
barely
my
got
list
my
even.
attention. Okay? I'm just saying the only reason why I got them stars is because it was catchy songs. But they annoyed me along with, like, I don't know, just were interesting in a crash test dummy. I gotta watch it go to the end kind of way.
I mean, and actually, I'm pretty sure Chancey. I'd have to go back and listen to the episode because it was a long time ago. But I'm pretty sure Chancey actually really liked them. But
And
I
that's great for him. That's great for him. But I'm representing the fact that I feel like this was some awkward stuff, and you're giving them so much more credit than they need. They're not terrible, but there's something about that man's voice that I'm like, would you please take a seat? Just take a seat.
which one?
The one
Which
with the
one was it? The
higher
high
pitch.
voice like
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Asa High is. Yeah, it is him with the high voice because in one of the songs on this album, Priceless actually says like, if you want to blah blah, if you want to know about that, ask Asa High, and then like he starts rapping it, and it's the high voice. So I mean, he's
I
definitely the
mean,
one with
it
the high
just sounds
voice.
like you took a puff off of a helium balloon. I don't know what's going on. Whatever, bro. Whatever
I'm,
works for you, but
I mean, he ain't no
it's no for
Swizz.
me.
He ain't no Swizz. Swizz sounds like he fucking was inhaling helium 24/7 when he raps. But
Whatever.
if you never heard of Swizz, he's part of Hobson's gang. But
Yeah, no,
fucking
I'm just saying that I'm good on this album, but it was, I mean, I found songs I like, but it's because they were there.
There was a
well,
couple little awkward interplays with them. I think there was one part where I have this in my top five, but I only have one note for the song. And he goes and shaking my head. He goes, jacking off and driving. He repeats, jacking off and driving, jacking off and driving. It's like, I'm amazed by what people do. It's like, all right, that's
I mean, who
That's
hasn't done
true.
that?
I see girls doing their makeup and driving, and I'm like, really, really,
I
really,
mean,
girl.
hey, you leave your girl's house in high school late at night. She ain't giving you any. You got the blue balls. You gotta fucking find a way to release before you get home. Like it's.
well, I just think it's strange that he responded with, I'm amazed by the things that they do.
Yeah.
This is like, why is
Well,
that
all right.
what's going
I'll get. Trust me. I'm gonna get into that song because that song is fucking golden. But like I said, though, I did have 7 honorable mentions for another album, and this is that album because there's so many tracks on it that I could not. There's a lot. There's a lot of tracks I don't like though. Like Horny Goat Weed. I don't like Horny Goat Weed. I think it's one of the worst tracks they ever put out. Like it's just. There's a lot of. I will never say that any of their albums. Okay, that's a lie. Speaking of the Devil, I can listen to all the way through. It's only 10 tracks. I can listen to it all the way through every day of the week if I want to. All the other albums, it's hit and miss. Like you bounce around the tracks. But my first one I mentioned was Killer Love, just because it's a fun song. Like the beat is like up tune and like really fucking fun. But number 11 was Existence because the beat annoys the fuck out of me, and that's why it's so low. But I like the theory because who hasn't questioned the point of existence at one point in their life or another? Like the idea of it behind it is fucking fun. But number 10 was Marriage because I like the fun Prince style like 80s R&B beat. And is that the one that made you think of Outkast?
It absolutely is.
Okay, I
What, you
thought
just
so. I'm
rank
like,
half the damn album, Jeremy?
what?
You rank half the damn album?
It's a long album. I'd be happy I
Oh
didn't rank them
my
all.
god! No one
Wait till we get.
cares that much.
But my number nine was Go Hard. Go Hard because that's actually one of my favorite songs by them. But I don't know why I ranked so low. The flow and lyrics are fucking incredible on Go Hard because that's literally what they do. The whole song is Go Hard. My number 8 was Shaking My Head though because that song cracks me the fuck up because 2011 when this album came out, that's when smartphones were really getting big. Everybody had one, and everybody was like, the fact that they use all the fucking like abbreviations and everything in the song is just fucking hilarious. And and the jacking up and driving thing is just fucking funny because I'm pretty sure somebody killed themselves doing that at that point, and that's why they put it in the song because it was like a news story at the time. But I mean, who hasn't done that, man? Jesus, you swerve all over the road when you bust, and then you're good to go. Uh, but my number 7 was Parachute because of the one simple line, "Kick Osama's ass while wearing an Obama mask." Like that line always cracks me up. But and my number 6 was "Life's a Bitch" because it's fucking true, and the beat and flow in are so fucking amazing. But my number 5 was "I'm Saying" because they their songs about religion. I hate organized religion with a passion, as all my fans of my show know. I hate organized religion with a passion. So "I'm Saying" hits a lot of things I agree with religion, and it's just "I'm saying." My number 4 was "Do As Thou Will," the last song on the album, because it's the truest song ever. Because it reminds me of like Marilyn Manson's done songs like this. So have a lot of other artists where it talks about like American culture, and so there's like I'm just gonna do as I will because fuck it, it's America. I can do anything I want basically. And my number 3 was "I'm Crazy" because it's one of the songs that really got me into them because it's just the way it opens up with the "oh no" and then it just goes into that fast fucking drum beat. Like it's like oof, like it can get you dancing. Like I've heard that in fucking clubs and it gets you dancing. And the chorus is fucking amazing. Freaking AC High coming in with that, like that "I'm crazy." Like it's almost like fucking Prince almost. Like it sounds like Prince almost. But number 2 was Revelations because I love the bass and the music and the fucking lyrics are amazing. Once again, it hits on their like religion, their ancient history fucking stances are fucking incredible. But the number 1 song on this album always will be and always is gonna be "What's Really Going On," because there's a music video for that one. It's literally just them walking through the desert, but it's fucking just incredible. Like the background, the beat, the lyrics, and the flow are all just pure legendary status in my mind. Like I I love their beats. Like I think Priceless does the beats if I'm not mistaken, but they're just fucking incredible beats. Like they are really good musicians with that shit. But what were your top 5 there, Kevin? I'll shut up now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that none of their music feels like the same song. I feel like sometimes with artists, you'll hear one song and it sounds like the next song, sounds like the next song. They definitely keep you guessing a little bit. Um, I have at my number 5, I have Life's a Bitch. I really like the breakdowns and I like again part of that production piece, right? The way that the song actually evolves musically. I think I was wondering who produces their music because it actually is really technically proficient. It's like it moves the song forward and it stays recognizable at its core, right? But it definitely doesn't get repetitive at any point, which is good. I had Marriage as my number 4. I like that hook. I think again that feeling of an old Outcast song, something from the Speaker Box or Love Below albums, like one of those two. I really like that vibe. Um, I think it's funny because you're saying their lyrics are very like poignant and stuff, and I feel like they're kind of the opposite. They're a little more. They just point stuff out. He'll be like, "You want to get married?" Sometimes I want to get married. Sometimes I don't. I think I could get married. Maybe I won't. Um, I had
They
him
they go
saying,
back they go back and forth. They have songs that will really make you like fucking sit there and be like, "Oh my god, they just said that." But
yeah, I think like there was stuff there that I was like again, like the jacking off and driving thing. But that was like that the internet thing. It's like that's another song that I have on there, shaking my head because I just like the way that they bounce off of each other. They have a lot of chemistry as a duo, right? I feel like I find his voice a little off-putting, but if you take him away from Priceless, AC High, like the duo doesn't work as two single artists. So I think the way that they play off of each other creates something that's like bigger than both of them. But yeah, I had shaking my head up there. I had I'm saying, and I had it's funny because this was the criticism that I had as well. Again, was I feel like he'll start to say something and then he won't really offer any real commentary at it. He'll just point it out, right? It's like if a comedian goes on stage and is like, women be complaining and shopping and men be up here just living their lives, hunting and shit. And you're just like, okay, but like, give me more, right? Like, I want more. He'll go. There's a point in I'm saying that he's like, Um, I'm black, you're white. It doesn't mean we have to fight or some shit like that. And I'm like, okay, well, he's like, are we gonna fight because I'm black, you're white, I'm wrong, you're right. I'm like, all right, well, give me more to it. Like, I'm like, you're poking at something, but you're not like developing it. So I would love if he developed it a little bit more. But my number one was definitely Go Hard. I like the way that it was like ethereal at first, and then when it drops, it jumps into that boom bap beat. It felt like something out of like the late '90s, like those underground artists that just can spit. Like he was just going and going and going. I thought it was dope, and I like the way that he used rhyme scheme. Both of them used rhyme schemes there. Um, a lot of longer end rhymes, a lot of internal rhyming. I think that was really cool. So that was where I landed on my top five.
Yeah, I mean, for what you're saying about the lyrics, if you listen to the album they did after this one, they responded to the George Zimmerman incident with a song called "Hey George," and like it's kind of like the OJ thing. They go back and forth. Like one of them is like defending George Zimmerman, one of them is going against him, and it's kind of like I like it. I like shit like that they do though, because the commentary is just fucking incredible on songs like that. But they're very purposeful because they're about one instant in life, and it's just they say everything they can say about it in like a fucking 5 minute song.
Yeah.
But Jaimie, what were your top five?
Okay, so I mean, I don't disagree with any of what you guys were saying for what your top fives were. But there was that very familiar vibe, something I couldn't wrap my mind around with this album. So for I don't have anything for individual reasonings with my songs. There was just something could familiarize with, but I couldn't wrap my mind around with most of this album. So it's not that it was terrible, it just really wasn't totally my vibe, and I guess it's just because there was something not off-putting, but something missing for me. Um, Killer Love was my number 5 though. Um, I had to on the top 5 give it that horny goat week because I got pissed off at work today, Jeremy. I'm walking around and I'm like, that damn chorus is going in my head, and I'm like, smack the door, and I'm like, damn it, Jeremy, got me listening to music, and I'm like singing it in my head as I'm walking around doing nothing. So number 4 is
Uh,
because of you, because that just drove me nuts. Because I'm just like, really, you chose an album that has a song that's that annoying in my head.
I mean, to me, the more annoying song is "I Love Kim Kardashian." I hate that fucking song, but
That there you go. Thank you. When you were playing your compliments to the song, I'm like, and then there's this. I like Kim Kardashian. Come on, shut the front door. Sit down. Let's not talk about it. But number 3 is Two Fly. Um, I don't. Was it Two Fly or Shaking My Head or Life's a Bitch? One of them that had that Outcast vibe that you were saying. Basically, number
Two Fl-
2 is Shaking My Head, but there's just something about between those two songs that had like a
Two Fly has an
early.
Outcast like vibe. Two Fly has like an Outcast vibe to it in a way. It does. I mean,
I was gonna
it,
say there's
it,
just something early '90s vibe to me on that,
it's
but
it's kind of like 3 6 Mafia too a little bit in Two Fly. Like it's kind of like their Stay Fly.
yeah, I was gonna say Two Fly when you say it like that. That was a familiarity on that. But number 1 was Life's a Bitch, just because the lyrics made me laugh. It just, I don't know who doesn't agree. I guess. All in all, this album was very. There's just very weird, like, I don't know, just like deja vu moments, I guess you could say, to some of the beats. So I'd be interested to see what more they could do. I guess maybe I'll listen to more of their music sometime, Jeremy. Maybe.
I'll be bringing more on eventually. So yeah, but let's finish this off right with an album that a lot of people probably know. Jaimie, what album did you want to bring on the show, and why do I bring this one?
Well, I've been having a hard time figuring out what album to bring on. And I decided because there's been too many times that I've had Missy Elliott references in my life. I absolutely love her as an artist. As a lot of people say, she kind of seems to be aging backwards. She's, I think, been further in her game musically and lyrically and producing music with Timbaland like she has. I think she's been ahead of the game. So this album's under construction, and it was just at the time that it came out, it was my junior year going into senior year. So there was a lot of changes for me, a lot of things going on. And I just feel like a lot of these music videos, a lot of the songs, you heard them in the clubs, you saw them on MTV. So I don't know. I mean, for me it just stuck out in my head that it's a 4 out of 5 for me. Absolutely 4 out of 5, and it's not just because it's my choice, it's just there's a lot of good vibes, a lot of good messages that she had in a lot of the intermissions and intros, little skits that they used to do back in the day. I guess I don't know how much they do those anymore, but, um, I don't know, there's just something about this album that just had that old school hip hop and trying to keep it fresh all at the same time.
Yeah,
And then Jeremy leaves us.
yeah, it's all good. I felt the same way though. I think it's a classic album, right? It's got basically everything from that mid early 2000s sound that makes it feel super super familiar because it is, right? That's what she was her artist, but and it's funny because the song that you liked most off of Good Kid, Mad City was, or one of them was Now or Never, which is Mary J. Blige. And those two together made some incredible songs.
Oh yeah, I've just a lot of the collaborations back in the day were those like mind-blowing epic ones to me. That like when you get that now, I don't feel like that happens as often as it used to. So this album definitely does bring that back because they were even talking on this album. What is it? My favorite word. Is it the Pussycat song with Janet Jackson and Little Kim was scrapped as a single to be sent out? That was too explicit, they tried saying. It still made the album, but it was too explicit to be a single.
Lil'
And
Kim?
nowadays, with everything they have out there with like Eat It by Megan the Stallion, WAP by freaking Cardi
Or
B, you know.
even back then, I mean, Kaya, right? With My Neck, My Back.
Right,
Yep.
right.
So
Very true.
it's
So that's why I'm just like, I think it's great that Janet Jackson, Lil Kim, like just the collabs on that alone were good, but that they had to say that was something they had to scrap. But we look at what we have now, and I'm like, come on, come on. But yeah,
Well,
I mean, Missy Elliott, this is a damn good album of hers, so I had to choose this one.
I'll let Kevin say what he thinks is down first before I go.
uh no, I love this album. This is a classic. I think there were a ton. First of all, the thing that I really love about Missy Elliott is that she can actually sing. She started as an R&B artist back in the day, like before she even was making hip hop. I think she was part of a girl group. So she's dope. She has more character than a lot of people on songs. I think her, Ludacris, like those type of artists are some of my favorite to listen to because they can actually make solo work. Like a lot of the times with artists that weren't like quite as popular as like sorry, 50 Cent at the time, right? Or like that top level, but like that level just under those guys, the whole album to listen to sometimes can get a little bit rougher. Whereas for her, she carries songs by herself, right? She has a lot of character that carries the songs. Some of the stuff is a little dated now, but I think most of the album aged incredibly well. Like I think it's such a dope album.
Take a deep breath here. Um, yeah, I am 100% not Missy Elliott fan. I never have been. I don't get why people. I mean, yeah, she did one song that people fucking fell in love with, and then people try to act like she's fucking incredible. I mean, female rappers to me are. I mean, if I'm gonna put her in the category of a female rapper, which you look at her most popular song, she's a rapper, and female rappers to me are hit or miss. I mean, I'm not a fan of Missy Elliott. I'm not a fan of Lil Kim. I'm not a fan of a lot of the big female rappers from like the 90s, 2000s. The one I'll give credit to always is Gangsta Boo because she was fucking incredible. Her and oh my god, the chat, like I fucking love them. Like from 36 Mafia, like they're amazing. But Gangsta Boo soul shit is fucking amazing for the most part. Some of it's but most of it's amazing. And I mean, hardcore female rappers are fucking incredible. Razakel, Smalls One, Lissa Sear. I mean, there's a lot of them. They're fucking incredible. But Missy Elliott, I just never could get into. And I'm not. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I found songs on this album I never heard before that I enjoyed the shit out of because of the lyrics mainly. But and I mean, she is decent at beats. I'm not gonna say she's fucking incredible at beats because she's not, but she's decent. I mean, she can make a decent beat better than a lot of male rappers I've heard. But it's I I wanted to like this album. I did. I tried. I tried hard, and just a lot of it sounded too similar though. That's the problem. Like a lot of times, like if I wasn't driving listening to it, and I didn't realize the songs were changing by looking at the fucking thing, I would have thought it was the same song a lot of times. And the fact that every song says in the beginning, it's a Missy Elliott exclusive. Like, oh, fucking shut up. You sound like a fucking, it sounds like a promo CD from a fucking, like, promoter at a club, like, trying to promote, like, their fucking own shit. Like, goddamn. Like, yes, it's obviously your CD. It's obviously your songs. Jesus Christ. Like, enough. I don't need to hear it every fucking song. Like, ugh, it just pissed me off a lot today with that shit. And, I mean, I've heard worse. I've heard way worse in this show, and I'm not going to fucking hate on her too much because she's earned what she's got. She's earned it. I ain't gonna complain, but it's just not my style. Just not my style. People can love her all they want. Just not my style. She has shit she's done that's good. And plus, every time I hear fucking work it, I think of South Park. That one fucking episode of South Park they have her on where, like, literally she just sounds like Jabba the Hutt talking on it. But you know, but Jaimie, what are your top 5 for your album?
Okay, so my honorable mention is, oh, I hate this word, Pussycat. That's my honorable mention, just because that song is quite catchy. But number 5, there's too many times throughout the day that I will be doing slide, dip, shake, and just singing that song and just going to move it all around. Like I'll be in the middle of my supply closet at work, just like singing Missy Elliott for no reason, and it starts with that song almost every time, no joke. But so number 4 is Funky Fresh Dressed. There's just something about the lyrics that
I hate that
really
song.
I love it. I love it.
You guys
That
chose albums that you both hate on the
Oh,
other side.
people hate a lot of my music, dude. I'm used to that shit, but
obviously we did. Number 3, back in the day, I caught myself on many road trips, many just like chilling out with friends. Like we'd be jamming out, having a good time, going cruising, and in the middle of it, be like, all right, let's get off the loop for a little bit. Let's like listen to a good song. Let's just jam out, and that would be a good song to listen to as we segue into something else. So number 3 just had a lot of memories to it. Um, Number 2, Work It, because it was a lot of fun back in the day. I remember a lot of the people at the club, just them having fun to that song. But that's around the time that I really liked that album in general. But my favorite song off of that album was because my friend and I had a rap battle to Gossip Folks, and we did like the whole entire like the fun lyrics, the different vibes, everything to it. We had a blast with it. So Gossip Folks is my absolute number 1 off of that one. But all in all, it had a lot of memories to it. So that's probably why I like the songs a little bit more than I probably would have for Jeremy's album.
yeah. Kevin, what are your top 5 off Mrs. Elliott?
Yeah, so I had what is it? Nothing Out There for Me. I like that little interplay between her and Beyonce. It's also a really good little inner conflict because the way that Beyonce sort of keeps her man around is by just loving her man and being a good woman. And that song comes directly after Pussycat. And Pussycat's all about keeping your man around through sex, right? So that little juxtaposition, I think that's such a like cool little artistic thing to do. I had Pussycat right above that. I think that's such a dope song. I think Missy can sing well. There's the grooviness of it. It's just easy to listen to that song. Even if I wasn't like, because I like to listen for lyrics a lot, but even if I wasn't listening for lyrics, I think it's just It's easy to listen to. Funky Fresh Dressed, the ad libs. Missy's ad libs are really good on that. The little nasally voice that she uses, like normally she has her regular voice, but she chooses to be a little more nasally for this song. That guest verse from Miss Jade is dope. I really, really like that song. And the production is really excellent on that too. I have Work It. I wrote down Work It is Work It. And that's my entire notes on that. That's just, that song is excellent.
That's a great way to sum it up, to be honest. Just work it.
Yeah, that's such a good song. I can't believe you don't like this album. I'm astounded. Um,
Right. It gets you
this
up. It
was,
kind of gives you some motivation.
That
yeah,
song,
it's fun.
that song,
Clean
maybe
that
not the
kitchen or
album.
get out and do something.
This
Get out with the
song.
girls.
And you know, Missy had a couple songs. Missy, she had Get Your Freak On before that. You know, after that I think she had one or two like
Super
really
duper
big
fly.
songs. Yeah. Like Lose Control. She had Lose Control with Sierra.
Yeah, oh,
She's
very good. She had a
yeah.
lot of stuff to follow this album, but this was that middle album that made you want to go back and look at what she did before, and then made you be continually interested in what she had to bring with like Sierra and other artists. But like you said with that Beyonce thing, I like how Beyonce played that skit with her, with how they did the skits back in the day,
Yeah.
and how her life played out.
Yeah.
Eh.
They've one elevator scene. And then my favorite song off of that was Bring the Pain.
Yes, thank you.
Because of Method Man's verse. I mean, what is it? He said, "We could bump uglies if you ain't got your monthly." Like that's so ridiculous. Like he's just dope. I love Method Man. Method Man has another really good verse on sorry, with Mary J. Blige on that
Yep.
like Sweet more that song. He's I just think he's so good for a guest verse. But even there, Missy's the one singing, right? Missy's the one that's doing the singing in that hook. She's a great singer. And even as a rapper, I think she just does everything really well. So she blends it in a way a lot of artists don't blend it. So she's just unique. I love her. It's a great album.
Uh, yeah, I mean, and that Mary J. Blige Method Man song was just on the top 44 R&B duet songs bracket we did, so
Oh, really?
it got a lot of love. But I had one more mention for this album, and that was "Work It," just because of how famous it is, and I that song is just so overplayed in my fucking book. It's so overplayed. I mean, that's the song South Park made fun of because it's just but my number five was Back in the Day because that song, everybody's got memories of Back in the Day, so that song made sense at least. My number four was Pussy Cat because I fucking love that song was good. That song was really fucking good. I like a good sex song, and that song was fire. Same with number three. My number three was Slide because I mean that was a sex song too, and it was fucking hot as shit. And then my number two was Hot. Like I like the three sex songs in the middle were fucking great. Like I fucking love that like bouncing from one to the next. Like it's I forget the lyrics. I was driving, so the lyrics weren't sticking in my head as much as they usually do if I have headphones on. But Hot had some good lyrics in it, and I enjoyed the fucking shit out of it. And then yeah, number one was 100% Bring the Fucking Pain because Method Man is fucking incredible. Wu-Tang for life. But I fucking met. I mean, that song's good. Even her verses are good in that song, and I knew that song ahead of time. When I saw that was on the album, I was like, yes. And I was like, oh, work it sound, fuck me. But I was like, bring the pains on it. Fuck yes, I can bring the pain. It's been a lot of movies. I fucking love that song. Like it's a good song. But and it's Method. You can't fuck with Method. The only thing that could have made better is if Redman was on it too. But uh, so I mean, yeah, I hated the beginning of this album. I wasn't a fan of the end of it, but the middle of it was fucking pretty fire. So I found a part of it I liked. That's all I can ask. That's all I can ask. Chancey used to bring out a lot of fucking metal albums that I didn't like any fucking part of. So I mean, I can't complain too much.
But I can
And
agree with what you're saying. The middle of the album gets to be fire. I have to
yeah,
say it starts getting
Yeah.
spicy there for a minute. Should have had Method Man down for my
I
honorable
mean,
mention. I will apologize now to the music gods.
and I feel like she was harping too hard on all the freaking artists that died. I feel like she was
Um,
trying too hard.
she was saying a lot, but she was saying a lot because she held it in for too long, and she's talking for more than just herself. So I'm just like, if she would just slow down and like manifest that into some great music, she'd been all right. But evidently, she felt like she had the need to talk.
I mean,
You
I
know,
don't know.
those were that was her scene when she was coming up, those artists.
Mhm.
Like she
A
worked
lot
really
of that.
closely with Aaliyah. She worked really closely with Timberland, and Timberland worked really closely with TLC. So that whole group is really connected. Like they were really friends, you know?
I
And
mean,
they did a lot of those interludes and those the middle of the album things, and where they go off and stuff like that. So that intro and stuff, I forgot how long that was in the beginning, but I
Yeah,
did
that was
enjoy
long.
that. What
well,
that
that's what
really
she
was, I was like, 5 minutes feels like a long time.
It does. I mean, but the Kendrick intro was the same thing. It was pretty fucking long. But
Yeah.
I, I have nothing against a long intro or outro. Like it's fine. Like 3 6 Mafia's outros are fucking famously long and they're horrible. Like they're like it's just all their shit coming up. And like, okay, we get it. You got stuff coming out. Great. You don't have to tell us everything you got coming out. But I don't know. I love Big Pun. Lisa Left Eye Lopes was a fucking amazing person. And so I mean, Tupac and Biggie and everybody else you mentioned were fucking great. But I don't need to hear their names 3 times on a fucking album like R.I.P. Like I get it, they died. We all know they died. We all are sad about some of them dying. So I mean, I think the only rapper the only rappers I really don't give a fuck died are Tupac and Easy, but because I don't like either of them really. I'm East Coast. What can I say? But it's just what it is. I mean, I don't know. It just pissed me off. It pissed me off a little bit, and when things piss me off, I gotta talk about them. But overall, not bad. I mean, hell, if I still had a chance on this show right now, it would have been another 3 6 album. So fucking thank God, because his 3 6 choices are fucking horrible. But fucking brings all the new shit, doesn't bring the old shit. Like their old shit's the good shit. I don't care what anybody says. Their fucking horrorcore days were the fucking golden days for them. But we want to thank Kevin for coming on because it's been an amazing show. I love when we do full rap shows because it just fucking makes it I mean, we've done so many metal shows and so many rock shows that's just fun to actually do rap shows once in a while because we don't get to do them too often because guests for some reason don't bring rap too often. I don't know why. I think a lot of people are just influenced by rock and like they don't bring
Still
country
have
either.
I still have a few that I'm waiting to
Oh,
throw in.
I know. Well, you'll get them. Trust me, you'll get them. But I mean, people don't bring country either. Thank God. But I'm happy about that part. But
The next
but
Garth Brooks album.
oh God, fuck no, fuck
Operation I
no.
Train, don't make me. Don't make me.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can throw a couple country albums out there, but you ain't gonna like who they are. But uh, Moonshine Bandits. But I will say it's been a fun episode. And Kevin, you are 100% welcome back anytime in the show. You got an album coming out or an EP coming out to fucking promote. You're welcome 100% back on the show. We love having returning musicians on here to promote their new stuff. It's always fun. And tell the people where they can find you, where they can find your music. Just promote yourself.
Yeah, again, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun today. You can find me anywhere at Kevin King 922. So you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok if they don't fully decommission it in the next 4 days. Whatever replacement Chinese app is right behind it, I'll be on there as well, I'm sure.
Ching Chong. It's called Ching Chong. But Jaimie, where can they find you?
Oh man. Well, if you'd fuck around, you'd find out. I'm gonna be right there waiting. Just kidding. You can find me on the Book of Faces. If you go from there, Slipknot Chica 17. Find me on Instagram. Find me on the Tiki Talkie, on Snapchat, the X, the Twitter, whatever you want to call it, all them fancy stuffs. I'm on Bracket Bastards also on top of this, so you can find me not only here on Tuesday nights, but you can find me on some Sundays, arguing about other fun things too. So just hit me up on Facebook and we can go from there.
That's right, folks. And you can find your musers, this combination or the previous combination, on Facebook as Uncensored, Unapologetic, and Untamed Podcast Collective, YouTube. Or you can find us streaming under this crazy mascot of mine, Squatchy Largefoot. Don't know who he is or what it is, but I mean, he tells me he's a sentient Bigfoot that likes to talk about our podcast, but I don't know. He hasn't given me any full information yet. But you can check out our lives there. And you can also find us on XXBaby and the Gram as at Juggalo Bastard. You can find us on TikTok as at Juggalo Bastard Podcast. And you can find us, of course, on YouTube as Maniacal Music Musings. All our episodes are Maniacal Music Musings. Even the ones that are not on our podcast streams are there. So go check them all out. You got a good 105 something regular episodes and a bunch of bracket specials to watch. So go enjoy. You can watch for days and weeks and months and have fun with it. We never get tired of seeing my pretty face. And you can, of course, also find us as part of Parapost Network, right home for all vodcasts and podcasts. And coming up this Saturday, our bracket specials return with the long-awaited pick by Harley of the top 40 songs from The Simpsons. I'm actually kind of dying for this one because it's going to be a funny fucking episode, but it's going to be funny. But come back Saturday if you want to check that out, or come back next Tuesday to check out our next guest. Who they are, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know who she is, but she'll be here, hopefully, and I'm waiting to hear what album she'll bring. So we'll be here, hopefully. Until next time, users are out. Fuck Tupac.